Martin, we've made loads of progress. What progress have they made? They're 15th. They've won 4 and 13.
Yeah, I get it. I'm like what he's saying, some of what he's saying. It seems that the team really has come sort of full circle, hasn't it? And then dropped some in this last 12 months. I was also at that match when Ancelotti arrived. It's 5th versus 15th, isn't it? And you look at, I think Everton in that time would take the 2 trophies that Arsenal have had. You know, so it's not been all bad. They've won 2 trophies. I think the problem is, I think this manager he's got this long-term vision of how he wants the club to play. With a back 4, with 2 midfield players sitting, with 1 off the front, 3 up top. He's tried to introduce that recently and move away from a back 5 system, and it hasn't worked. So I think what he's doing now is going back to that system which he played to good effect. If you think back to the FA Cup last season, took Man City out, won against Chelsea, playing all this system.
Yeah.
They've got 3 really tough games, Everton, Chelsea, Man City to follow now. And it is a difficult period. But it's become very tactical, and I want to see character. You lose a little bit of character, and it's like ownership on the pitch. It comes back to the players. I do feel there's good direction from this manager, but when you change from one system to the other, for instance, if you're a wing-back and you're a full-back, they're quite different, the roles. Against Spurs, they're playing as full-backs, but the previous game they're playing as wing-backs, and they're still up the pitch. There's a confusion. So let's strip it back. Let's make it simple, but let's also roll our sleeves up and play with a determination. I would love to be at the club in some capacity to try to get through this period, because that's where you're going to see what people are
you would have been tailor-made to have been in there.
Do you know what, Jim?
Moment.
The training, I was just chatting to Ray Parler there. I'm pretty certain the training would have been white hot between the games now, because no one knows who's playing. And it's a case of we're fighting, scrapping just to be in the team first, just to represent, and then go and do some in the games that are coming up.
You know, in progress, Martin, when he says progress, I want to pin you down on that. What progress?
Well, I think what he's talking about structural changes behind the scenes. Now, we don't really know the scouting system, the recruitment. I like the recruitment of the last 2 players, although Partey we haven't seen enough of. But Gabriel, if he's going to be a barometer of the quality of player coming in, I'm pleased. Because he's a bit more physical, he's tougher, he's actually a really good defender. So that looks good, but we need more of them, and we need more recruits coming in.
Fans only care what they see on the pitch.
Yeah, that's it, Martin. You're a student of the game, and everything you're saying and what's going on behind the scenes.
Arsenal Results is the most important
are
thing,
15th in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Arsenal can't see. They can't even see Man City. They're lagging behind West Ham, Chelsea, Everton. Spurs have already, outdistanced them.
They took just a second point from the last 18 available
failure
on Wednesday night.
It's not good enough, Jim.
Theo Walcott goes back, then comes out and says, "Do you know what? We could sense fear in the Arsenal ranks."
Yeah.
We could all sense it. And that's where I think he's saying, he wants a level of understanding, but the results are the most important thing. I don't think his job, Jim, is in trouble, but if he keeps losing games, then questions will be asked, because he's a rookie manager where he's 50 matches as a manager. The emotional roller coaster he's been on. He's experienced things that no managers... But who wins an FA Cup inside of 50 games as a manager? Nobody. He's done it. So he has got winning qualities. He's just now got to formulate a plan. He's got to get these players on board. Is it toxic in the dressing room? I don't know. I'm not walking in. He's made some big decisions early on, and there's maybe there's a lack of unity, but he's got to put all that to one side and just keep looking at his vision. But the short-term vision has to be, we get results, and that's doable against Everton.
Martin, listen, I know you're talking, I understand and I respect it, what you're saying. Yes, of course, a long-term vision, but football's not like that anymore. You can't have you cannot sit at 15th place. They got 3 games coming up, all of which they are favourites to lose. Now, if they could wind up with 1.2 at the most out of the next 9, if they're not very, very careful. At that point, they can't be in the back room. They can't be talking about but his long-term vision.
See,
They've got to get him out.
We know.
I'm explaining why I think he's got caught up in it. I think he's trying to look. He's looked at the long-term vision, and it's costing him the short-term solution.
Well, that's it.
And he's got to win games. But as individuals, as characters on the pitch, you have to you've got to motivate yourself. I look at Aubameyang, and I don't think they're giving him the service he needs as a player. All these crosses, look. Mr. Arteta, you can count the crosses till the cows come home, but if we haven't got a player who can get on the end of them, what's the point in you whipping balls into the box? No, play balls in down the side to Aubameyang's feet. Maybe play him centrally.
But why do you see that and he doesn't?
Well, look, I've been following the Arsenal situation.
And why have they got out of the habit of winning? And why do they keep on getting red carded?
There's been
So
improvements,
where's
Jim.
the progress?
Jimmy came in and made them much more difficult to beat, but there was a lack of creativity. He then tried to be more creative, and they started to concede goals, and the confidence has gone down. He needs to work with their minds. He needs to find another ingredient as a manager to really lift this group. And there may be a few players that took a slap in the face and don't really like it and not been a part of it. But I was confused when they're playing a player off the front and Ozil wasn't a part of the plans. I agreed with him when Ozil was it's a new beginning and we don't use him. He's not even named as a Premier League player. But then when we start playing with a player off the front, who's better equipped
No one
than
is
Ozil
better
to
than
play
Ozil.
that?
Exactly.
So that was confusion. But now he's gone back to a 5, and this game is huge. You need to see some character, but you need to stay on the pitch, Jim.
Yeah,
You've got the
but
balance
Martin,
right.
sorry, again, and I'm not knocking. If you're Mourinho or Guardiola or Klopp or someone like that, Ancelotti, if you have a bad season, then obviously people will say, yeah, hang on a minute, he's having a dip, but he did this, and we know he can do this. People, they must be looking at Arteta thinking, have we dropped one here? Because he's never managed a team before, ever. Never been a manager. We gave him his first job, and we're 15th in the league. I can't believe that somewhere in those big offices at the Emirates they're not making plans.
Well, they are, but I'm just saying for a bit of calm, a bit of support, and let's see what he's made of as a manager. You know, there's been a lot of changes behind the scenes. I understood it that when Wenger was in charge, that they felt that they needed to delegate the roles behind the scenes, and that was done. Are we now changing that, or are we changing the work that Arsene Wenger did? I'm not sure of what these structural changes are. I don't know enough of. Raul Sanleria's gone. I can see Saliba being bought for 25 million and not being played. I can see Pepe not really performing. That's 100 million of
but
transfer
Martin,
money that was spent last summer.
Let me tell you, mate, you were, and we tell you all the time, you were an astounding player. Outstanding player.
No, determined. I was a determined player.
Let me ask you this. How did they change it on the pitch and start winning? You spoke about Aubameyang there. Don't give him balls, flying balls into the box. He's not like that. Give it to... What were you saying about Aubameyang?
Well,
why doesn't he see that?
Well, I think...
Arteta see that.
I think he's only scored 6 goals with his head in his Arsenal career. Out of the 60 or so he scored. So it's like...
I mean, he's your captain. He's the biggest earning player at the club. He's got to lead by example. They've forgotten how to win.
We've become like a percentage team, which is looking at... No, it's a football team. There's a sense under Wenger of smelling an opportunity, of creativity, of beautiful football. That brand's disappearing. We don't want to lose that, but we've lost that, trying to be tougher.
What they've lost, Martin, and I'm going to personalise it again with you. Whether you're a brilliant player or not, doesn't matter. I'm not interested in that. You're a very, very good footballer.
But what you had
was the ability to say, guys, we can't let this happen. We cannot allow this to keep happening.
Yeah.
And I don't believe anyone at Arsenal in that playing squad is saying to each other, this shouldn't be happening to us, should it? I think they look like they're accepting it.
Bob, I think you're spot on. I think that's what Arsenal fans think.
If they have to have a season in mid-table, so be it.
But this is
your club,
Yeah,
Martin.
but this is Arteta's got to identify these characters that he can trust in and believe and pull out leadership skills. I don't think you're born as a leader. Things happen around you and you step up. That's what they need to do. At the moment, it's not happening at the moment, and the players can't hide away from it and blame the manager. The club, Willian has come to Arsenal Football Club. It's like he's taken a holiday. I honestly could stand out on the right wing and do what he does. If you rolled me the ball and just pass it back, Jim, I'm not affecting the game. Take the player on. Make something happen. Get to the byline. Don't just cross it from deep. How does Aubameyang get on the end of a cross when it's just hopeful ball into the box? You've got to play with purpose. Saka, the youngster, is carrying the club. He had to go past 4.
He's a kid.
He went past 4 Southampton players who perfectly timed in their reaction times to try and close people down. They do it beautifully. Yeah. Their manager is doing a great job.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to keep this going. A lot of Arsenal fans getting in touch. Martin, pick me a winner in a word as we head to this break. Be honest with me. Everton or Arsenal?
Well, I'm backing Arsenal, but because I don't see an Everton team that are out of the woods either. Okay. They've done well the last 2 games, but I think Arsenal can win this.
Live and exclusive on talkSPORT, of course. Everton Arsenal is 5:30 for that one. Mr. Keown in full flight, and we like that. Friday morning.